Right, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. Now, before we get into the video, I need you lot to do me a favour. I had a look on the analytics page, and recently I've seen that quite a lot of you lot watching these videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel. So, don't feel like you need to do anything right now, but at the end of this video, if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more content from me, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, Newcastle, Liverpool. What do all of those teams have in common? Every single team I just named has invested in their midfield this summer, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm looking at some of these midfield and potential midfield frees and they look scary. So what I wanted to do in this video is discuss which one is the best and also rate in order from 1st to 7th the midfield frees in the Premier League this season. Here to help me do so is Josh Aveste, as seen on the kickoff. Josh, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Fucking love being here. It's great to chat to you, mate.
Midfield frees straight away. We've got to decide really on who the free would be. Starting off with Manchester City. Obviously, we got Kevin De Bruyne. We got Rodri. And then for that other position, we got either Bernardo Silva or Kovacic. I know they put Kovacic in for decent money. I'd say Silva, for me, is still the one that I would pick in there for the free.
You're not even talking about Foden, mate. Foden is going to be in that. Foden could be in there.
No one's really talking about Foden.
This is the thing with City. Like, Tinkerman Pep is going to start all over again. This is why no one puts any midfielders in their fancy football team.
Who'd be the free then for you?
I don't think Kovacic and Rodri play in the same team.
Right.
I think Kovacic is coming in to almost be like a backup for Rodri, which is hilarious because I feel sorry for Phillips.
We'd have it right, though. KDB picks itself. Rodri's starting.
Rodri's starting.
Rodri's starting. So who's the third then?
It has to be Silva, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I would almost rotate. I think Pep's going to rotate between Silva and Foden. Because, like,
for the sake of the graphic on screen, we're going to put Silva. Yeah, we'll put Silva in there. Arsenal, we can go Rice, Odegaard, guaranteed, Partey, or Havertz. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw a little bit more of Partey. Maybe I'm reading into a pre-season friendly too much. Havertz didn't look great the other day, but for the sake of it, you've just spent 60 odd mil on him. We're putting Havertz in there.
I think with the Rice acquisition, probably one of the best DMs in the world right now in terms of current form. They're going to spend, 100 odd million on him. I think he's got to start as the 4. And then I think they probably do play 2 8s. But they're going to have to change their formation. So I think for the sake of this, let's put Havertz in. I have a sneaky feeling he's going to end up front.
God. Well, I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Yeah. I hope you're right, mate. Liverpool. For me, that was their weak point last season was midfield. Szoboszlai, and McAllister are going to be 2 of those midfield free for me. I don't think you bring them players in and they don't. The one that I would say maybe a little bit more is maybe McAllister. You might see him rotated a little bit more. But I'm thinking in my head about the graphic we're having on screen now. It's got to be those 2. Who plays as the third? I'm going to put it out there now. Thiago, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, the options they've got there. It's got to be Trent. It's got to be Trent. It's an unpopular opinion, I think, amongst some people. It's got to be Trent. But I think, like, okay, yeah, North Macedonia. Yeah, all right, it was Leeds and they got relegated. But you saw him in that position last season. You don't not have him there.
There's 2 things for me. They either need to sign a fully fledged right back, so that he can actually play at right back, because you can't just have this sort of like free Trent that's a DM and a right back. It just doesn't work in the team, does it? No. And then I'm just thinking about that DM. Like, I'm just thinking Fabinho could be off. Thiago could be going to Barcelona. Fabinho's going to Saudi. So I'm just thinking, is Trent actually, if you think about it, a DM? When he was playing for England, he was on the right-hand side. He was more of like an 8. He was actually getting in the area, mate.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think Trent is actually a DM. So I'm really worried about, like, anchoring that midfield with Trent. And I almost think that they're going to have to go back into the market for that position, especially if they sell those 2 players.
As they haven't yet.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to put Trent in
there.
Put
him there.
Got to put him in there. Man United, as much as I rate Christian Eriksen, I think it's pretty obvious, the Man United one, isn't it? It's Bruno Fernandes, it's Casemiro, and it's Mason Mount. Chelsea, at the minute, as things stand, listen, I'd love to put Caicedo in there, but people will have a go at me in the comments. So as things stand, and this could change as it goes out, if it has changed by the time it goes out, I'm just going to replace one player's name every time I say it with Caicedo. But we're looking at Enzo, Gallagher, and Nkunku as a sort of the forwardish player in that midfield.
I mean, Santos, but yeah, let's go for those 3.
Listen, if we're thinking tactically, you're going to go Santos. When we're ranking them, I'm thinking, let's sort of put maybe Nkunku there because it might get us higher up. Scary midfield here. Newcastle.
Yeah.
Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton. Spurs, a little bit less scary. Højbjerg, Maddison and Bentancur. Let's start off 7th place. We've just spoke about them. It's Spurs, isn't it?
You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me. I just don't feel that we're even in the conversation right now because we don't have a midfield. Like Gallagher is not a holding midfielder. He's a good player, but he's not a holding midfielder. So I just can't even put him next to Enzo in my head. So I'm almost going Enzo ? And Kunku. And with that, you can't, like, mate, we're biased. Like, I've been going for 25 years. I am the most biased Chelsea fan in the entire world, right? But I can't put them anywhere higher than that. I think Chelsea are bottom.
So you would put Spurs over them?
If Caicedo comes in, we immediately go above Spurs. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But until he does, I can't in good conscience say.
So I look at it player for player. Enzo, Højbjerg, and then straight away you're going Enzo. Gallagher or Bentancur? Gallagher's more proven in the Premier League for what he's done at Chelsea and at Crystal Palace. Yeah. Gallagher, I'm telling you now, you ask any Premier League side, you can only take one. Who are you having? Gallagher, Bentancur. It's Gallagher.
Okay, fine. My glasses are back on. Fine, he's better. Yeah.
It's Gallagher,
sure.
okay?
Yeah, right, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Maddison and Kunku.
In Kunku.
Easy.
Easy.
So we're above Spurs.
Fine, you've twisted my arm.
Spurs in 7th.
You've twisted my arm.
Chelsea, I don't know why I'm happy because I'm saying we're in 6th. It's like, and we're not bottom, yes.
Yeah.
Chelsea in 6th. Should we go ahead and just put City top so we sort of know here where we're going?
I would say that there are 3 players that are not in the City's first 11 that would be better than the bottom 4 of this league. If you look at Kovacic, how brilliant he was for Chelsea. You look at Foden, and you look at what Silva is the one that's they're questioning. Even Phillips, he was quality for Leeds. I mean, his career's fallen off a cliff. He needs to get out of there as soon as possible. But all of those 3 players, they could get in any of those bottom 4. So
exactly.
Yeah, City are walking this.
Yeah,
City are like a level above every other one in this league.
So let's build downwards now because it's going to give us a better idea of where we're putting people. I'm going Newcastle 2nd.
Wow. That's very high.
I am going Newcastle 2nd. Because if you say to me right now, I'm a manager, and you can go, right, okay, big game, yeah? Big game against another top 6 rival, top 7 rival. I can have Rice, Odegaard, Havertz. I can have the Liverpool midfield, which although I look at and I very much rate, unproven. We also look at the fact you look at Trent Alexander-Arnold in there, and it's like, are you doing a defensive job? Don't know. I know McAllister's probably not. Szoboszlai, we don't really know what. He looks powerful. He looks good, but we don't really know what. You're telling me a certainty in there, and I put them ahead of Man United, a certainty in there, a Rolls Royce of a midfield, yeah, and you're saying Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joe Linton. I'm saying in a big match, that's what I'm picking. Maybe nostalgia's getting into me, and I'm looking at the midfields gone by in years that we've seen, you know, the likes of Vieira, Roy Keane, those sort of players. I'm not comparing these 3 players to them. But in terms of what I would like to see from a strong physical midfield, I think that Newcastle midfield is a Rolls Royce.
I agree with you. You know, I've got a soft spot for Newcastle, right? So this is a hard one for me. And I was actually debating whether they're 4th or 5th. I was in my head going, I'm going to get slated if I put them in 4th over the team that I've put in 5th, right? So I'm looking at that level. The reason why I've put them in 4th is because Tonali, and I'm calling him Toonali because that's his beautiful Newcastle name, right? Toonali, I'm not sure how well he's going to bed into the Premier League. It's one of those players. Do you remember last season they did like a signing of the signings of the summer, and there were players in there like Basuma. There were players in there that we thought were brilliant. They had this record at Brighton.
Tottenham won the transfer window.
Exactly.
Open top bus parade.
We had Spence in there as well. I just don't know for sure how good he's going to be at that base of the midfield. And so for that reason, it's an unknown, and therefore I can't put them any higher than a 4th because I think there are 3 better teams than them right now. Another reason, Joel Linton, quality player. Could he be a one-season wonder in that role? Like, could he get found out with the amount of games he's going to have to play, with the positions that he's going to have to take on, the physicality that he's going to have to do across the Champions League and the Premier League and all the other cup competitions they're going to be in? I'm a bit worried for them about that position. Not because I don't think Joel Linton's a quality player. I just don't know how they're going to compete in all fronts.
I'm not saying that this is the team that are going to finish here, there, or anywhere. What I'm saying is, if I'm a manager right now and I can pick a midfield 3, I think I'm picking them above most. So we're going to have to find some sort of middle ground on this. People are going to let us know in the comments. Just quickly then, who do you put above Newcastle there then?
So I've got 3 teams above Newcastle, City in first, obviously. And then the 2 that I'm picking between are Arsenal and United. I'll go on Arsenal first. They've just signed Declan Rice. Would you say that Declan Rice, out of all of those choices that we've got, is one of the best number 4s?
Yeah.
He's already come in and massively improved their team. I would say it's Rodri and him for that role that's the best in the league. And I would almost go, I know we're again biased because he's an ex-Chelsea player, but I think he's that maybe a level beyond him, right?
I'd probably go Rodri, if I'm honest.
They go, but like they're close.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation. They're close. And it's like, Rice is what, 24? English, captain material. There's some essence in that I really rate for Arsenal. Odegaard just had one of the best seasons you could possibly have. Another captain figure. This is really important, like morale and like, especially in the midfield, like when you're driving your team forward. And he's going to play in that number 10 role. So I really, really rate him there. And then they've got a lot of options. It could be Havertz, it could be Partey. If I'm looking at that, they've got a lot of options there in terms of the way they progress the ball up the pitch. And I think for me, this is a controversial one. I think they're second.
So the weak link in that midfield that we've just discussed there is Havertz. And we're not saying he definitely is, but we're saying, looking at it like that, the weak link, the only one that you couldn't make a strong case that is going to change my mind there, because you did with Rice. And Odegaard, we already know his quality. But the weak link there, we're sort of thinking Havertz, yeah? And what I'm saying about Newcastle, the weak link, I wouldn't necessarily call him a weak link. I would say would maybe be Tonali, because you don't know how he's going to adapt. Although you can say, I think we know what Bruno Guimaraes is going to do, and I think we know what he continues to do. Although you could look at Joelinton and say, oh, well, will he be a bit found out? That is quite hypothetical. In comparison to Tonali, he's changing leagues. So you can say, you know, he might take a minute to hit the ground running. Recruitment-wise, they don't seem to be getting it wrong all that often, Newcastle. But upon that conversation, I think I'd probably agree with you and go, do you know what? We could put Arsenal in that second spot. Newcastle are going in third. They're better than the Man United midfield. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Casemiro, brilliant. If you're saying to me now, different positions, but you can only pick one of Casemiro or Bruno Guimaraes to start, probably going Bruno, if I'm honest. And then, if you say to me, okay, who do I have more confidence that is going to do a really good job next season? And you go to me, okay, you've got Tonali in there, or you've got Mason Mount in there. I know this is going to sound like a bitter Chelsea fan here, but I'd be more excited to see Tonali in the team.
There's a lot of revisionism going on now within Chelsea fan base about Mason Mount and how good he actually is.
I think Mason Mount's quality. I think he's a quality player.
This is the one where I was so gutted about Mason leaving. Like, I'm just so upset to see him go. And the reason is because he's going to tear it up at Man United. He's going to be, 15 assists a season, probably, 10 goals a season for them. That's worth a lot of points. And I honestly
think Mason Mount will get 25 goal involvements next season?
Yes. For Man United, yeah.
I don't think he does.
How many do you think he's getting?
Around 10 less than that. Around the 15 mark, and it wouldn't surprise me if he got less.
It's unbelievable, though, because we were rating him as like...
But then if you said that to me right now, if he had stayed with us, and you said to me, do you think Mason Mount gets 25 goal involvements next season? Off the back of last season, I'm going to say no.
He wasn't playing, though, was he? Like, mate, he was our player of the season 2 seasons running. If he actually had a half-decent squad around him, he would have been a lot better. Mate, we made everyone look shit last season.
Yeah, no, of course, and I've argued that point already.
Yeah.
For me, personally, I'm just saying, if I'm picking it, I'm putting Newcastle there. Because if I'm picking a team, I'm saying I would rather have Bruno, Tonali and Joelinton than I would Mount, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. But then I think most people will shoot that down in the comments.
Can you imagine 2 years ago if we'd said that Newcastle would have a better midfield than Man United?
Mental.
What people would have said about us.
Mental.
I'm happy to concede that one because I think it is actually quite even. But I think Man United are going to surprise a lot of people this year. I just think like Ten Hag's like moving into that next season. For me, there is almost like a bit of an aura around Ten Hag at the moment.
Yeah.
Like he seems to be driving the team on.
Very good manager.
And so I feel like rather than necessarily about the particular quality of each of the players, and I actually don't quite think they like knit well together. Like Bruno and Mason are quite similar, aren't they? So Bruno's going to kind of drop in slightly deeper. Mason's going to have to go forward. So I just don't think they're going to actually work that well together. But I feel that Ten Hag is going to like propel them forward in a way that like I don't know if Eddie's going to be able to do it again. So that's where I'm at. But I'm happy to say that we'll
for the sake of
Newcastle in third.
For the sake of this, I'm putting Newcastle in third. You lot let me know. I'm sure you will. Feel the comments coming already. Spurs bottom, Chelsea. 2 blank spaces now. Newcastle, Arsenal, City. Those 2 blank spaces between Man United and Liverpool. I'm going to tell you my opinion on it. I'm going to throw it over to you. My opinion is that we are going to put Man U the higher out of the 2, which then puts them in fourth. We're going to put Liverpool the lower out of the two, which puts them in 5th. That's my opinion on it. However, I'm telling you, in the league next season, Liverpool finish above Man United.
It's hard, right? Because we're doing this in the middle of the transfer season. And I actually think they will sign a quality DM. And I actually think that's going to end up being Lavia. So if you're talking about Lavia being as that DM, and then you're putting McAllister and Szoboszlai on the other side, I actually think that's really good. And I actually think that does compete against Man United. But until that point, I'm not having Trent as a DM. Trent is an attacking 8 if he plays in the midfield. And he's sort of like that hybrid right-back role. He's not a DM. He's not going to be there tackling, making those interceptions, playing that Makelele Kante role. No way is he going to be doing that. So, and that, we know how important that number 4 position is, that number 6 position is in the team. It's one of the key players. And that's why I rate Arsenal so highly now in terms of the midfield, because Rice is Rolls-Royce. Rice is quality. And Rodri is the same for City. So until you've got that, mate, I think that midfield really struggles.
We put Man United then 4th,
yeah,
and we're putting Liverpool in 5th.
Yeah.
With what you've just said about that, Trent, Szoboszlai, he looked very good. But apart from the goal he scored against England and the fact that he was playing for RB Leipzig, and I was keeping a little bit of an eye on them because of Nkunku, not many knew that much about him. McAllister, he had a good season. 12 goal involvements last season. Is there any world that we could argue we put Chelsea up another space above Liverpool, or are you not having that?
I think we got to do some more business.
Right.
And I think if we do get Caicedo sorted...
And Liverpool sign no one more.
Yeah.
Puts us above them.
I think it does, but they will sign someone. But Enzo, World Cup winner, quality player. We've talked about how good he is at moving the ball around. I love him. I actually rate him so highly. I almost can't quite believe that we signed him in a weird way.
Yeah.
Caicedo, I really rate, and I think he's going to take us to the next level as well. And then Nkunku being number 10, brilliant. But I feel like we're kind of hypothetical until that happens. When it does happen, I'm going to be the first one in the comments going, we're right up there. Trust me. But until then, I'm gonna be a bit more conservative.
Right, so people, you've seen there our rankings for the midfield threes from 1 to 7 in the Premier League this season, but I'm sure you lot have been shouting at the screen, so let us know in the comments exactly where we've gone wrong, what your 1 to 7 ranking would be, and even if we've missed out players in those midfield threes that you would have had in there, I will be trying to reply to every single one of the comments as they come in. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we will see you in the next video.